Welcome back to the Lowbrow Gamers Portal 2 playthrough. I'm Xicon and I'll be your host again. Alright, this segment is the first part where you interact directly with one of the main characters, and we're going to be carrying Wheatley through the bowels of the Aperture facility and eventually waking up GLaDOS. Ooh, probably should have said spoiler alert. Since I've already talked about Wheatley as a bit of storytelling and how expressive his character is through the model, I'm going to talk about instead the way they develop his character here. This is a silly little thing that comes off as a joke, but I think it actually tells a bit more about Wheatley's character than people are willing to admit at first. He's been created by the Aperture scientists, and they tell him that if he disengages himself from the rail, he's going to die. Yet he does this anyway. He is very hesitant to do so, and he has this ingrained fear. So he deeply, deeply trusts his creators at this point. But as he sees, once he does disengage himself, he does not die. And even though I don't catch him, he's completely fine. See, because unfortunately, I don't think you can catch him. He falls off right there. He's completely fine, and he's very happy that he's not dead. So he's seeing for the first time that his creators haven't been exactly truthful with him. This becomes a major deal later in the game after you've gone through GLaDOS' first couple of tests. But here it's quite evident that Wheatley is a very trusting. That's not the right word. He's an innocent little guy. He's not the brightest. He's pretty inept, but he's wholly innocent. Now, this is really cool, going through the bowels here of the Aperture facility. We've done it in the original Portal, but here, like, you can even see the turrets here on the side through these little chutes, and it's kind of very sad because they're clearly not working. But in the original Portal, you didn't quite get this glimpse of, like, its maintenance tunnels, so they use this place. It looked all run down in the original Portal, so that we get to see this bit of Aperture that's, appears to somewhat be still useful, appears to be pristine condition. It's nice, it's sleek, it's your Aperture style. It's very different from the original Portal's design of the bowels. So I think that's a nice difference between the two, and I certainly prefer Portal 2's visual style for the back areas as opposed to the originals. The industrial route that we saw was kind of crappy. So here we have GLaDOS' chamber, and it certainly looks like there was a violent struggle here. It looks far more destroyed and damaged than it did at the end of the original Portal, and it certainly has unshelled a bit of things that we didn't see, like the railing here. But it seems much more tragic than it actually was, given GLaDOS' sadistic state. And once again, we're going through the bowels here. We see more of the railing, more of the nearly bottomless Aperture facility. He says don't look down, but of course we're going to look down, and I just had this impulse to jump. I really wanted to. But we can't jump over the railing, it's too high for us, and we can't use the portal gun because we can't drop Wheatley yet. But oh well. This is a very cool room, and it seems like it's a big setup. It's just this joke. It's ridiculous that he's asking us to find one switch in this massive thing, and then he wants to just turn a light on to see if that helps. But it's actually very, very impressive, and a build up to a much more imposing thing. The first time I saw it, I thought it was just a joke, and I was laughing. It's a good joke. It's very funny. But as you'll notice here, once the lights turn on, some of the switches are already pressed, and as we turn here, and as we start to rise, you'll notice that all the switches that aren't already flipped up get flipped up by the platform as we go up. I think it's an ingenious design on Valve's part that every switch through the process of the platform rising up gets flipped. And when I first noticed that, it's a mind-blowing thing. It's a very, very cool. But they're all flipped, so GLaDOS is starting to start up. We get to see Wheatley's absolutely feeble attempts at hacking. He's trying to manually break the password, which is just pathetic. But here you get to see kind of GLaDOS has arms at one point, and going off of the theory that GLaDOS is designed to resemble a bound and gagged woman, the arms suddenly get attached to the central control unit at the top, and it's rather creepy when you consider the implications of that. She's being turned back on, and by being turned back on, she's being bound again. So it certainly kind of plays in to the idea that she's trapped here and such, but it's really creepy to think about. This is a very cool sequence, though. It certainly is very menacing, and dropping the portal gun, it's all very well done. It looks like Wheatley dies there, but it's not. It's just Wheatley being Wheatley. GLaDOS is just as menacing as ever, and the yellow dot instead of the blue is a nice contrast. Apparently yellow is much more evil than blue. And it's very fitting that she should drop you into the incinerator that you drop the pieces of her into at the end of the game. So we'll have a nice trip, and we'll pick back up in part 3.